Time now is 6:37, so I think we just go ahead. Is that all right? Okay, so today I'm acting in the capacity of your chairperson as well as your secretary. And first of all, I will start with public comment procedures. In compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), this meeting is hosted via Zoom and closed to in-person attendance. Meeting procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. Public comments. Members of public are encouraged to make public comment during meeting. When chair opens public comment for specific agenda item or
Recording in progress.
agenda matter, members of the public will have an opportunity to make comment during the meeting. Each agenda item will remain open until public comment period is closed for that specific item, including all agenda matters. Written comment. Send an email comment to boardclerk@technicalities.net, including meeting date and agenda item number, or of agenda item. Contact information is optional. Mail a comment to 700 H Street, Suite 2450, Sacramento, California 95814. Include meeting date and agenda item number or of agenda item. Contact information is optional. Written comments are distributed to the members and filed in the record. View meeting. The meeting will be streamed live through Zoom. Members of the public may watch and or listen to the meeting as follows. Join Zoom meeting. https setcounty-net.zoom.gov.com. Webinar ID passcode joined by phone 669-254-5252. Webinar ID passcode. Meeting material. The online version of the agenda and associated material is available at bosspublicmeetings.setcounty.net. Some documents may not be posted online because of size or format. For example, maps, site plans, renderings. Contact the clerk's office at 916-874-5411 to obtain copies of documents. Accommodations. If there is a need for accommodation pursuant to Americans with Disability Act, ADA, medical reason for other needs, please contact the clerk of the board by telephone at 916-874-5411, voice, and California Relay Services 711 for the hearing impaired, or board clerk at setcounty.net prior to the meeting. Okay, so now I'm calling the meeting to order. And first I start with roll call. And number one, Mr. Plaza, treasurer.
Present.
Okay, member Stewart. Member Stewart. I know you're there.
You listen to me? We're unmuted.
Thank you. I got muted. Walpole is present.
Okay, Stewart, thank you. All right, and then I have Lisa.
Present. Present.
And member Kwok. Member Kwok, Joy. Member Joy. I know you're there.
Can you hear?
Okay, got you. And member Eric.
Here. Eric Keith is here.
Okay, myself, I'm here. And Daryl, I don't think Daryl is here. So, member Wu, are you there? Okay, all right. So Daryl Wu is not here, absent. All right. So now I can move on to.
Chairperson Shaw, this is Alma from the clerk's office. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is somebody in the meeting twice because we're getting a lot of echo on the other ends? Or if somebody's sitting with a computer with somebody else in the same room?
Okay. Let me check.
It's not me.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback and I don't know why.
I know.
Is it better now?
No.
Okay.
We're just going to try and keep everybody muted until you need to speak. So, Chairperson Shaw, please just have patience and please, if you
I
need to
have a
speak.
question. If somebody's calling in on a hard line, how do they put their hand up?
I believe it's, I'm not at my work station, so star 4, oh, star 6, yes.
Star 6.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, Chairperson Shaw. Go ahead.
Are we better with the feedback? Okay. All right. So now I move on to item number 1, welcome and introduction. Okay, first of all, I wish everyone a wonderful new year ahead. For the past year, 2021, I would like to thank our member Warthog for having made such a tremendous effort to put together a new functioning board, while year 2020 was in a state of a vacuum. Our cash position for the year 2021 has improved substantially compared to 2020 and 2019. For the year 2022 coming year, I wish the board will bring about more improvements to the town. One of the major project is we will elect a board that is more representative of the town. This should have been done in December 2021. I'm being a member of the executive committee. I do apologize for that, and we are now playing catch up. Well, because we have a packed agenda today, I will make a point that we limit the public comment on 1 turn for each person, 2 minutes, and we will try to finish the meeting at 9 p.m. All right. So at this point, do we have a volunteer for timer? Do we have volunteer for timer? Eric, can you do a time? Do you do timing for us?
Yeah, I can do timing. I don't know how to show the timing on the screen, but I can certainly do it on my stopwatch.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, okay, so now I move on to item number 2, approval of the November 8, 2021 meeting minutes and November 22nd, 2021 special meeting minutes. So I want to do it like one by one. So we first move on to November 8, 2021. The both minutes are distributed on January 7 via email and posted on the bulletin board. So now I open to the board members' discussion for the approval of the minute November 8, 2021. So anybody has any comments on the minutes? If there is no other comments, so I am going to forward a motion to approve the minutes.
I second it.
All right, and I will take a roll call vote. All right, Joe, remember Treasurer Plaza.
Aye.
Thank you. Member Stewart. Member Stewart, this is regarding approval of the minute November 8th. Member Stewart?
$6.
Member, sorry? Member Stewart? Have to unmute yourself. Member Stewart?
$6.
Okay, I move on. Okay, Member Kirk? Do you approve the minute?
I,
Okay, thank you, thank you. Member Paul? Member Paul? Joy? Paul? Do you vote? Do you vote? Do you approve the minute of November 8th?
Did you hear me?
Yes. So, how do you vote to approve the minute? Okay. I move on to member Heath.
Aye, I approve.
Thank you. All right, going back to member Warsaw. Do you approve the minute? Okay. Member Joy, Paul, do you approve the minute?
I approve.
Okay, thank you. So now I have got 4 out. Okay, I approve. So we got 5 out of 6. So can we just approve it without Stewart's without Stewart's vote?
Yes.
Should I mark Stewart abstain?
No, you would just not register a vote for him.
Okay, so no vote. Okay, all right. So I pronounce motion passed. The minute of November 8, 2021 approved. Okay. Now I move on to the minute for November 22nd, 2021. All right. Treasurer Plaza.
Yes.
Okay. Member Warsaw. Okay. Member Lisa Kirk.
I,
Thank you. Member Cole.
Aye.
Member Heath.
Aye, yes.
Okay. I vote yes. So I go back to Member Warsaw. Member Warsaw.
I think member
He
Warsaw
seems to have
left the
dropped
meeting.
off.
Right. I think he's having difficulty staying connected.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, sir.
yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Loud
Okay,
and
I had to
clear.
call in again.
Okay.
I vote aye.
Then for both minutes, right?
For
For
the
November 8th and for November 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. So we have unanimous vote and the minutes is approved. Okay. And then we move on to item number 3, presentation of Treasurer report as of December 31st, 2021. So, Treasurer, please take it over.
Yes, thank you. Can I be heard okay? Is okay?
Loud
Okay,
and clear.
good. I only say that because I'm getting some sounds coming over there, and I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't that I was clear. So on the year end, on the profit and loss, we show we've got month and then year end, and so we show that we had a total income for the year of $49,560. Which netted us approximately $20,349. That's a little bit skewed out of we're not going to see that every year, of course, because we picked up a lot of assessments that weren't collected in the previous year. So that it's hopefully our year end will end up in the positive, in the plus side. But I don't see us making $20,000 every year. So, but it was a good year then, anyway. So on our balance sheet, we show we have a total bank account. We finished with $44,375 in the bank, with total assets of $75,692. And then the next sheet is the transaction by account for bills paid, and you can see those. And that is pretty much what we have on the year. I thought it was a pretty good year all in all. We ended up positively. We made some headway on collecting some of those past due assessments, and we'll continue down that road in 2022. So I thank everybody who paid and everyone who is attempting to get caught up. It makes a big difference. Little bits at a time make a big deal over the period of the year. So.
All right. So I would like to thank you for your good effort in collecting all the arrear assessments and also keeping good record of the books. And thank you for your good work. And we appreciate it. And then now we will move on to the profit and loss. Is that right? Are we going? Okay, you just presented the balance sheet.
No, I went over the profit and loss first. I'm finished.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard.
So,
It's a little bit difficult to hear tonight, I think. So.
okay. All right. So actually, there's a question regarding the profit and loss. I mean, I see that the utilities for 2021 is 8,100, whereas for year 2020 is 4,100. So that is like 100% increase in the utility expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, is there any reason to that?
Yes. Part of it has to do with our previous bookkeeper for a while. In 2020, in 2020, at the end of 2020, our books were being done by Suzanne, and I'm trying to remember the name.
Suzanne Dagger.
Yes, Suzanne Dagger. Yes. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We changed over to Andrea at Pisoni a couple of months later. What happened was that since there was no board for most of 2020, nothing happened. Assessments didn't get collected for the most part, and very few of the bills got paid. I think there was only January, if I remember correctly, that bills were paid. So what happened was at the end of that year, when we came on, we're trying to find out what state we were in for 2020, trying to gather up all of those bills. And what happened was we managed to sort out a number of them, but for some reason she took those utility bills and threw them all into 2021. So she was running us. She changed us over at the same time to the accrual basis rather than the cash basis that the LMC had been calculated on. So those utility bills for some reason came in and got posted into January of 2021. So that's the reason for that. And I got I can send this to you, Douglas, a rework of the end of that year, and it shows that the utilities paid for 2020 were only $765. So you took the difference of 4,600 or whatever it is on the average of the year. The difference between that and the $765 that was paid, I think, between January, it might have been February in there also, got thrown into 2021. So that's why that number is so large, because it got paid in the end in 2021.
Okay. So 2021 is inflated and 2020 is deflated.
Correct. Not much was paid. Only 700 and change was paid in 2020. The rest of them got thrown into 2021. So the check was actually written in 2021.
Actually, that was impacting the budget you were doing, because you, when you did your budget, I said that that it should be about $8,000, and then, but that's okay, but that is not that's not correct. So
when I went back and talked to Andrea about this the other a week or so ago, it became more clear. It became more clear.
Can we resort it? I mean, for the next meeting, so we can get it nice and correct.
Yes, I can send that to you. I got a copy of it today. I can show you what it looked like for 2021.
Can we ask Andrea to resort it, put the right amount into 2020 and right amount in 2021?
We can't go back and change that, because we are really on a cash basis, and those bills got dumped into January of 2021 and got paid into January of 2021. It wouldn't be a truthful record of what we actually did.
Okay, all right. So at least you get a good explanation, and it will be in the minutes. Okay, so that's that. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we could write an addendum in there. We could write an addendum into the minutes here that explain exactly what happens if anybody in the future wants to come back and look and see what we did. I think that's probably a good idea. It would keep somebody from the future coming back and saying, "What the heck did these guys do?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I make sure that it's reflected in the minutes. I'm your secretary now. Okay.
Okay. So you're the secretary. Take this down.
Okay.
Chairman, this is Lisa Kurt. Can I make a statement?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have a copy of an old budget from January to August of 2011, and at that point, the common area utilities were coming in at about 4,000. So that would probably be about correct. That that even if we looked at this and it was 3 months short, even if it was 5,000 for 1 year, so that would probably make sense. That would be the average. So if those other bills got dumped into that's probably why it's higher. So maybe you can just reflect it in the notes, and that will take care of that.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Looking back on things, Lisa, at 4,000 from 2011, today it's around 4,600 in that neighborhood now. Right. So it's gone up a little bit. So, but it's in the ballpark. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is there any more comments about the treasury report? If there's no more discussion, I will just have the treasury report adopted. Okay. So treasury report adopted. And I move on to item number 4.
We don't need to take a vote?
No, treasury report does not need to be approved. It's just to be adopted.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so item number 4, old business. Levy street maintenance is an action item. Okay. The reason it is itemized because in the previous action of maintenance of the street, we drew a lot of resistance, namely from Ronnie Maiden and Karen Garcia. They all live on the street. And the maiden sternly warned the crew that we were approaching his private property while they had their personal possessions encroaching to the middle of the levee street. So there is one resistance. And the second resistance is from Karen Garcia. Her argument is she has a painful foot. She wants to keep the leaves on the ground leading to her illegally parked car at the intersection of Main Street and Levy Street. Okay, so these leaves will serve as a soft pad for a painful foot. And she said, we are supposed to service her. So why can we not stop cleaning the street when she requests us to? Okay, under much discussion, much studying of the situation, I understand that the board should uphold the duty of LMC to clean the street. Okay, so right now, I will put forward a motion. The motion is to uphold the duty of LMC to clean the street, knowing there will be resistance from the neighbors. So this motion is to put the board on the same page that we are going to do it against the resistance. Okay, so I forward the motion. Anybody second?
You are unmuted.
So anybody
Maybe
second?
maybe we should have a discussion.
Well, first we have to have this second, then we have discussion. I think the Robert Rules of Order is first, second, then discussion.
Could you please repeat the motion?
Chairperson Shaw, this is Alma from the clerk's office. You can withdraw your motion to allow the board to discuss it if you prefer to do it that way.
Okay. All right. So we will have discussion before the forwarding the motion. So sorry. So Member Heath, what's your question again?
I asked you to please restate the motion. I didn't get it all.
Okay. The motion is to uphold the duty of LMC to clean the street, knowing there will be resistance from the neighbors.
I think that's a great notion, since the LMC's duty is to uphold the facilities of the town in the common area. The street would seem to be some of those, and the walkways and all that. And so that seems perfectly within the responsibilities and the duties of the LMC. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. I'm not trying to be argumentative here, but it seems to me that that's our duty. That's our job, is to do this. I'm just curious. Why is it? I'm not understanding why we need to make a motion to do what it is that we're supposed to be doing anyway.
I understand you completely, but that's because, we will be hearing a lot of protest and noise. Okay, so when that happens, I don't want to explain to the board. Oh, it is our duty. No, therefore it is our duty. Therefore we go ahead and do it. I want the board to know, to anticipate. There will be resistance, but we are going ahead anyway. So so the cleaning crew, the people in charge of the cleaning, would not have to answer back to the board. Why so many people are complaining, and you are still doing it? Do you understand?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been the receipt of a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the idea.
But the thing that I would tell them before, and the thing that I would tell them afterward, is that it's explained quite well in the CCNRs. I'm not trying to be argument. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't think it's going to save us from getting grief from the people, though.
Yeah, but that is in a minute. It's in a minute that we have all agreed to take on this particularly challenging task.
Yeah,
right? Because this is not a normal cleaning. This is going to be how tough.
Hey, if I could just add, just really quickly, Joe, in response to your question, I agree with you that it is fundamentally the responsibility of the board to keep the common areas and the roads and all that clean.
Yeah.
And it is our duty, and that needs to be fulfilled. With regard to any specific area, I do think maybe it makes sense to have a motion and a explanation here on the record as to why it's being addressed. I question whether it needs to be subject to vote. Is there a question of how it gets paid? Are there competing priorities? But in any event, I think
just in case we have people, maybe they sympathize the opposition's point of view, right?
I understand, but I guess what maybe Joe is saying and what I'm also raising is, like, if we have a motion and it fails, does that mean we don't do our duty?
Okay, good point. So why don't I just make it a announcement?
Okay, I'd like to have this. I'd like to put my 2 thoughts into this. As somebody that cleans the streets and sidewalks and lofts, as a volunteer, I do have respect for people's buildings and for their things. And if I know they have plants out there, I am cautious. I don't pull them up, because people do live. It is their space too. And I know a lot of people on Levee Street don't necessarily want the public walking all around it. I don't know what to do about that. I can understand these are people's homes and they're like their front yards. I have a levee that people walk on where I live, and I'm always conscious of that. It may not be what I want to do, but there is an easement there. But someone that cleans the street, I am conscious about when I'm going to sweep somebody. Maybe I don't want to knock something over. I do have respect for them in that sense. Somebody complained that when I tried to get the pigeon poop off, it went into their building. The water did. So I stopped. So, I do try to listen to people and what they want. Now, I do not clean Levee Street. So are we paying someone to clean Levee Street?
Yes, we will. We will. Yes. That will be on the agenda later in this meeting. Yeah. That when you talk about selection of landscapers, and that will be the item that deal with the people who clean the Levee Street.
Okay. I'm not really comfortable in intruding into people's space. That's just my feeling.
Hang on a sec, please. We're not going into anybody's personal space. Levee Street is part of the common area. That's the responsibility. That's our responsibility to keep that clean. And while I can certainly feel for someone who has a foot problem, I've got knee problems, that I fought for. And so, I'm always looking for better shoes because to impact my knee less. But here's the thing. The leaves on the street, to the degree that they sometimes are, is a risk for anybody walking there. So it's a safety risk. And so while this person might find she walks from her door to her car, it feels better with those leaves. Anybody else who's walking up and down there, it could be a hazard to have all those leaves, especially when it starts raining. So do you see what I'm talking about? We could leave them there for her. We're creating a risk. We're creating a
But
hazard.
I know there's been opposition about people walking kind of right in people's front yards, because that's basically what they are.
No,
So, I just try to...
If they're walking on Levee Street, Levee Street is common.
I know it's common, but it doesn't, we do have a business, and, Joy has a business there. And when this first started, they tried to say that was just a residential building, but it's not. It's residential commercial, and that made people uncomfortable. But I'm just saying that I try to be respectful of people's property, no matter where it is, because, a lot of people don't walk on Levee Street. They walk mainly in the on Main Street. And we just have to, a lot of people during COVID, they didn't want people walking around in the back. So I just try to understand that because these are their homes. Even though they've got the public traipsing all over every place, and they do, because this isn't a closed community. So
Well, that's
I've got people walking on my levee that but that's what I'm just, I'm saying that because these are common walkways to the public, we're asking them to put up with the public on something that's very personal to them. And I just hope we understand that. That's all I can say.
But what's personal to them is common area.
I know, but it wasn't always common area. When the subdivision came, that's when it became common area. And a lot of those people lived there before that.
Levee Street's been Levee Street for a long time.
I know, but the common area came with the subdivision in 2003, 2004. It was all one big lot that belonged to one person, the whole town. So those are their homes, and a lot of those people up there have been there before the subdivision occurred. So that's what I'm just trying to say, that if you look at their perspective, a lot of people have been here before the subdivision came. And the rule was, if you want to get the property under your house, you had to sign up for all of it.
Yep.
And they did, right?
Yeah, they did, right?
Well, yeah, if you wanted the property underneath your house, you would have too, whether you wanted to, you agreed with everything or not.
Can I
So,
say
member-
something?
Life's full of trade-offs.
Okay, wait a minute. So, sorry, Member Cole. Okay, go ahead, Member Cole. Yes, please.
Can I say something?
Please.
Okay, because my shop is on the entrance is on the levee road. So people visit my shop, they have to walk in the through the levee road. And last time I already reported somebody stepped on the figs, and then they think they stepped on the dog poo. And then I have to clean their shoes. So that's why I brought it up. We need to clean up at least clean up the levee road. That's what I pointed out, because it's really, really messy, and then make the lot historical town like a homeless.
Okay. Thank you. So, do I have any more comments from the board? And then I will invite the public comments. Okay, so now I invite the public comments. So, Eric, you're doing the timing. Okay, public comments, please. Okay, no public comments? Well, okay, so my take is, it seems to me there are different voices among the board. So I think we should still take a vote, so there will be a sound. It is a decision of the board to uphold. All right. So I will still advocate to vote to uphold. And I forward the motion.
Second.
And you second. All right. So I take a roll call vote. Okay, so I repeat, okay? The motion is to uphold the duty of LMC to clean the street, knowing there will be resistance from the neighbors. All right? So, Treasurer Plaza?
Yes, I will always vote yes to uphold
Okay.
what the job of the LMC is to do. Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Member Walther? Member Walther? Okay, I move on first. Okay, member Cook?
I'm going to abstain.
Abstain, okay. And member Cole?
I don't quite understand right now, and it's you going to clean up the levee road or not clean up?
We are upholding the duty of LMC to clean the street. We are
Yes, clean the street.
clean the street, yes.
Yes, okay.
Clean levee
Yes,
road.
if clean the street, yes.
Levee Street.
Yeah,
yes.
levee.
Street. We're
Levee.
just talking levee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are talking
Levee
about
street.
levee.
Okay,
If clean it
sorry.
up, yes.
Okay, sorry. Let me make a point to correct my motion. It is to clean the levee street. I missed out the levee. Sorry.
Okay, good.
All right. Yes. And
I still second it.
you second it, so yes. Okay, so I'm going back to Member Water.
Stuart, raise your hand. Star 6.
Okay, I vote yes. So maybe we will go back. In any case, I think we have enough votes to pass the motion, and I announce motion passed, and we will go back to Member Warsaw for his vote later. All right, so
Uh-oh.
okay. Next item, tree maintenance. So we have Treasure Plaza. He has done a lot of work with the tree cutter, and let's hear him out.
I didn't understand. I'm having
We are
trouble
moving
here.
on to the item tree maintenance.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Yeah. Well, I understand that you have written a letter, right?
Yeah, there should be a letter included in this packet here that explains what it is that the board has decided to do with trimming the trees in and around the town. Yeah, it explains that, and the beginning of the tree trimming will begin on February 8th. Should take a day and a half, 2 days. So February 8th and February 9th, Campbell Tree Service will be here, and they will begin trimming those trees. As I said, I think in the letter that I don't know at which end of town they will begin, but as it gets closer to that date, I'll try to find out so that we can send a note out to people and to let them know when where they're going to start in the back or they're going to start over there on Levee Street or not. I will send out another notice toward the end of the month to give them a couple, just to remind people that this is going to happen.
Okay. So this letter will be sent out by email. And are we doing any USPS anymore?
I haven't done. I included in this because everybody has access to this bundle that we send out for the letter. What I was going to do was going to either take them to the town or send a mailing out, a regular mailing out later in the month to people, so that they'd be covered both ways.
We are
right
sending
now.
invoices out
Is
by
that
mail.
to camera?
Yes,
So maybe we just put it together with the invoice.
a good idea.
How come I'm not on?
Because
Stuart, we can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Stuart,
Okay.
I can hear you.
So that's a good suggestion. I'll give a bundle of them over to Andrea, and I'll have her send them out with the invoices.
Yeah. Thank you. So we are happy to hear Member Warsaw is back. Member Warsaw,
Yes, Chairman Shaw.
hi. Okay. We
Excuse me. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
As a clarification, I was using my hard line, and whenever the county muted me, I couldn't get unmuted. So now I'm over at Deborah Mendel's house using her computer.
Okay.
So if you want to see my picture, it would have to be, I don't know what you do, but I can see Douglas, Joe, and Eric. So
Stuart, you want to vote on, we just voted on the authorization to clean up Levee Street.
yes, and I got to hear that discussion.
Okay.
I would like
So
to
we
bring
need
up, I'd like to bring up one point. Just as a clarification, we, the fence that was put up at the end of Levy Street, the owner of that property was sent a letter asking for it to be removed, and the owner didn't respond. And then ultimately those stakes were taken out and laid down. Unfortunately, Chairman Shaw said to a person that was giving him a hassle about it that we didn't do it, we being the LMC. It's not a very good precedent to basically lie to an LMC member. Hopefully this is not going to be coming up in the future. I can see through the discussion, everybody anticipates a lot of pushback, but let's keep it all on the up and up.
Okay, yes, okay.
You want to vote? What was your vote? What was your vote?
Yes.
Okay. So can we add that to the vote for maintenance of Levy Street?
Yes, all right. Okay, so going back to the issue that Member Walter was talking about. Okay, there was there was one day, Member Plaza and former Member Wilson and I, we were inspecting the Levy Street, and when two of our members decide to unilaterally dismantle some of the structure put in by Ronnie Maiden's significant half, Mike, and I told that please stop, don't do it, because we shouldn't just have gone ahead. And then anyway, they went ahead and did it anyway. And a few days later, and I was cornered by another member, Tony Lee, and he was using his dagger eyes, piercing me, asking me if I was the one who did it. And I said, it wasn't me. And at that point, I made it very clear to other members, please don't do it. So I did not lie, okay? I did not do it. I told the people not to do it, okay? So that is my explanation to Member Walter's accusation, so-called accusation of me lying. Thank you.
Well,
all right. Okay.
I've got a comment on that there, Douglas. The fact that we removed those stakes that were put in there, it had nothing to do with doing something that was inappropriate. Ronnie Maiden put stakes into the common area along Levy Road. She wasn't supposed to do that. I went up there and inspected it when I found out about it, and I took pictures. I wrote her a letter asking her to remove them, sending her a picture of them. I sent her a letter, asked her to remove those things because it was inappropriate for her to do that. She had no right to put those posts into the common area. So I told her that I gave her weeks to remove them, and she refused to do that. So when we were up there, it was the first chance I'd been able to get up there to do it. So I took that opportunity to remove those stakes. We didn't take anything. We simply pulled them out of the ground and left them there for her. So I'm trying to understand, where was the inappropriateness of that? This is at the very heart of what we were just talking about a minute ago, doing our job as board members of the LMC. We have to vote. Wait a second. We have to vote on whether we're going to do our job to clean the streets and say that's an okay thing. But then, so we're going to have to vote now when I go to do something that we should be doing anyway, and that's removing inappropriate things from the common area. It's the same thing. So where was it inappropriate that I removed those posts after I gave her a long time and notices to remove them herself, and she refused? So then we removed them. So what's the difference between those and cleaning the streets?
Okay.
Joseph, can I say something, Joseph? I think she put them up there because of the vegetation growth. So if we're going to clean Levy Street, then all of those branches or whatever's growing back up there that she puts in the stakes to try to hold them back should be solved.
Well, that's one of the things that we talked to
Yeah.
Oscar about was removing some of those. You're absolutely right. But what
So
she
that
should have
should be
done,
solved.
what she should have done is called us and said, this is a problem. That's our job to attend to those things, Lisa. It's not hers. Do you understand?
But I also know we didn't have meetings for a year and nobody did much, and we're volunteering, trying to do things and pull things back together.
This
So
was just several months ago. We
right, but I think we have it resolved now. And then if we can move on to the tree maintenance, is the next item.
So we don't. So
I just
you want to be finished with it. So I guess we're finished with it then, right?
Well, we do have a long agenda, but the next item
Okay.
is that the is
No,
that
no
for the
problem, Lisa.
12,000?
We'll just go along with your schedule then.
Well, it's been enough debate about it. We're going to clean it so that it should take care of the vegetation that was growing there. But on the tree maintenance, is the $12,000 just for Levy Street?
I don't know what you're talking. Are you asking me?
Yeah, well, I'm just or anybody tree maintenance. We have a bid in here for $1,200, and I guess this is just for Levy Street. Is this related to Levy Street?
Is this
May I
from
say something?
Hill's Landscape? Is this from Hill's Landscape?
Yeah, Hills Landscaping.
Okay. This is for the next item. It got nothing to do with the tree cutting here. No.
So we can move on. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
so I just want to say my last bit. Okay. Number one, I don't think we informed the Maiden household that we were going to dismantle those stakes in advance. And I think if we were going to do it, we should have give them warning. Okay.
I did. I
I
took pictures. I sent her a letter. I said, you've got weeks. Get this
But
thing
did you tell
done.
them that you're going to do it on that day?
Gentlemen, I think
No,
we need to move
I
on.
didn't have to.
Okay,
There's no reason for me to have to do that.
All right.
Should we move on?
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
please.
Next item is selection of landscaper, and it's an action item. Well, as the document posted on the county website, we have two quotes. Oscar, his quote is $650, and versus Hughes, $1,200. That's the one that Mamika was talking about. Okay, so this is the landscaping job covering from Lock Road, the driveway, into the parking lot, and into the entire communal garden and part of the area behind Levy Street, between Levy Street and Russell Ohm's garage. Okay, it's a huge area. All right, so we have got different quotes, and Oscar's quote is lower. All right, and Oscar is also the guy who has been doing it for us for the past 2 years. Okay, what the significance is okay, so the cost, so the work nature is the same. Okay, but why the difference? Because Oscar doesn't have insurance policy for himself, and Hughes does. So I want to advise everybody that if we vote for Oscar, we know that he does not have insurance. So if anything happens, what we can do is we will put in wordings like we are not liable for any injury sustained by independent contractor. Okay, that's all we can do. Can everybody understand me?
Yes.
All right. So I will now. Okay. So I will invite board members discussion first.
Okay, so I would just like to verify that our insurance company would prefer which scenario.
Okay, good question. I talked to the insurance company this morning. Okay, And I asked them, because it was initially it was insurance company told me you should not touch anybody who does not have insurance policy, right? But then after I explained to him the difference is $6,600 a year, then he said, well, maybe you can put in wordings into the agreement saying that, we are not liable for any injury sustained by independent contractor. So this is the advice given by the insurance company.
So this is my concern as a business owner that has to have business insurance and a license in Sacramento County. I prefer to support people that also have the same, because that's the cost of doing business.
Okay. Well, that's why we have a vote. Okay. Any other board members comments? Question?
Yeah, I think we should have someone who has a liability insurance. I don't. I think it's foolish to hire someone who doesn't have a liability policy, because I don't care what kind of an agreement or what kind of wording you put into an agreement with a contractor. If one of his people, or if he gets hurt, they're going to come right through that and come to the town. I'm not an attorney. Eric's an attorney. Maybe you could elaborate on that. But
Well, I think as a general matter, it doesn't make sense. Well, we should only do business with people who are properly licensed and that maintain the proper insurance for their business, for exactly the concerns that you're raising, Joe, and I guess Lisa, which is, if something happens, God knows what it is. We can't control so much. A branch falls funny. I don't know,
Yeah.
And it's not the guy who signed the contract, but one of his employees. I think having someone who's licensed, insured, is really the way to go. If that means it's more expensive, maybe we find other bids, but that seems to be the best course here, or that would be my preferred course.
Okay, I heard you. And any other comments? Or I will invite public comments. Public comments? Okay.
I have a possible an idea. I think we should look for other people also. It's a difficult task. I know. I've made appointments and have driven down to Locke 3 times, only to be stood up by people who didn't show up, to come give us a bid. I know Douglas has been down there too several times to work on this too. But I still think we need to search for someone who's in our budget and licensed if we can. So how about if we use the licensed contractor on a month by month? We don't write a contract for a year or any length of time. We simply make it a month to month agreement and continue to search for another contractor.
Okay, and my take is maybe what I can do is why don't I go ask Oscar? Well, can you get yourself a policy, and then you maybe charge us $650 plus.
Sure.
Or we can ask Hughes Landscape to maybe he can come down a little bit, something like that. So if that's the case, we will not have a motion today, and we will just keep the status quo, meaning that Oscar will still be coming every Friday, but I will try to talk to him about the insurance before Friday to minimize our exposure.
Chairperson Shaw, this is Alma from the clerk's office. So you're asking to just table the item?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Shall we table the item? Okay, move on. Fire progress report. Treasurer Plaza, you've been talking to our fire chief, right?
I haven't talked to him in the last couple of weeks, but right now I'm still trying to get prices on changing over, and not only prices, but exploring the possibility. I've run into a little bit of a snag with Verizon. Fire Chief Warren T-Tech recommended in my last conversation with him that entities down there on in the Delta that have similar requirements as ours for communication to a monitoring service have left Frontier and have gone with Verizon because Verizon's service down in the Delta is much more dependable. So I've been trying to get through to Verizon to set up an appointment to get together with them to talk to them so that they could get us some numbers and on switching over from Frontier to Verizon. This is no exaggeration, and it probably doesn't even cover the total amount. I've probably spent between 7 and 8 hours on the phone, either being on hold waiting to get a hold of somebody or being moved from one person to another. And I had an appointment the other day at one of the business offices, and the person called in sick. So another case of going someplace and trying to get something done. So that is what I am working on right now, trying to get us moved over to Verizon for our phone service that communicates between our pump house and our pump to our monitoring service certifier. So that's what I'm working on presently. It's been some work, and I haven't gotten very far in the last 6 or 8 weeks. But it's not because it's not for a lack of trying. But I'm still in the process. So that's an update there.
Thank you for your hard work, Treasurer Plaza. Okay. So is there any board members discussion on this one?
Joseph, can I ask you, Eric?
I was just gonna comment that mobile self-service in Locke is abysmal. At Al's, I can tell you that there is no signal. I don't know what that means for the pump or how it's all positioned. There's a little bit of signal back in the back parking lot, but if you don't know the Wi-Fi password at Al's, you're in a hole, which many people actually like, which is fine. But I thank you as well, Joe, for your diligence on this. But I don't even know if Verizon can do it.
Well,
Joe,
go ahead. I just wanted to follow up on one thing that Eric said. I tried to catch him up. I don't know if you were at the meetings when I talked about some of the other possibilities. There's another possibility. It's a radio. It's a radio signal. It's more sure. But that's one of the other things that we're exploring. But I'm trying to do I'm trying to level up the radio equipment and the process. And on our reporting entities side, it's more expensive to monitor that also. So I'm trying to work up to there. The good news is this. Here's the good news: is that since we had some failures early in the summer and midsummer, we have only had one since. So okay. My getting on Frontier and complaining about the poor service, I'd like to take some credit. It probably has nothing to do with it, but.
Well, I'm sure a letter or two to the CPUC might rattle their cage as well. So.
anyway, those we have alternatives, but I'm trying to work up the ladder.
Okay, thank you,
Joseph.
Yeah,
Joseph, has Warren mentioned any other system that operates like ours in the Delta, as far as for fire suppression? Is there any other system that operates the same way? Has Warren claimed?
You mean another group of buildings or such, or another type of fire system install.
Quite well, that relies on the communication,
No,
like ours does.
he didn't mention one specifically, but he deals with them, and it was what he told me was that other entities like Locke have had the exact same problem, and they've been finding that Verizon's service is better. But the good news is
that communication overall, or in relationship to a monitoring fire suppression system?
well, in monitoring, people have things monitored for a lot of things, fire suppression systems or
Right.
Break-ins and all kinds of things. But the communication, the communication that we need to have from the pump house to our monitoring service, that type of link is common.
Okay, because I was just trying to know if he knew of any other area in the Delta that had this kind of link with its fire suppression system that you could talk to. You know, I don't know if there's anybody else in the Delta that has the same system, but it might help you if he knows of somebody that's monitoring a system like this somewhere else, same kind of system, if he could put you in touch with that person.
Yeah, I'd be glad to give Warren a call. He's a very good guy. He's
a great guy. Yeah. So, you know, but yeah, just maybe you can actually talk to someone that's dealing with a system like that also.
I'll give him a call.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And then I shall invite public comments. Public comments on our fire progress report. If none, then I'm going to move forward to the next item, which is the report of progress of post-judgment of the lawsuit. And we have Member Warsaw to give us a report.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's been some movement regarding the whole Martha Ashe lawsuit litany. Just as a quick review, there has been 11 separate billable matters. You probably all are aware. If not, I'll just tell you that all of the Martha Ashe real property has had a lien on it for quite a long time. And with the recent sale of a property that Martha Ashe owned on Winnie Street, the sale was for a total of $329,978.23, of which the Locke Management Corporation, the property owners of Locke, will get the full amount. So this is going to go a long way to satisfying the outstanding bill with BPE law. I can't give all the final figures at this point. This has all happened in the month of January, but in February, there'll be a much better accounting. Martha Ashe still owes a considerable amount of money to the Locke Management Corporation, but this is a big step towards it, becoming whole again. So that's what's new with the Martha Ashe litigation.
Okay. Any board members' comments?
Could we get the accountant to do research how much we've actually paid to BP law firm in this situation, so that we know how much we owe them and how much we're actually going to get? Because I think the accountant could be able, because I think we entered into a contract with them in January of 2012 to represent the LMA. And I see kind of consistently that we've paid them yearly an amount. So I was wondering if we could get the accountant to give us a breakdown of what's been paid on this lawsuit by the association to BPE.
This is what I said was going to be provided.
Okay, can the accountant do it?
Our
Is
bookkeeper.
that probably, yes, because they have all the figures over the years. They should have all of the figures from everything that's been paid to BPE.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll actually know how much we're going to get and how much BPE is going to keep.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're,
Could I ask the chairman if he could communicate that with the accounting firm to see if that could be accomplished by our next meeting?
Oh, well, should that be me or should that be treasurer? Or should that be member Walker?
it would be up to the appropriate people. Lisa, you won't, not respectfully. It's going to be the people involved all the way along in the suit, which includes Daryl Wu too.
Well, it includes all of us. But what I'd like to know is if the accounting firm could come up with an amount that we've actually paid to the BP law firm, so we'll know what balance is either owed to them or owed to us. It just makes sense.
Lisa, when you say us, who are you referring to?
The Loss Management Corporation Association, yes. Because I know the check, I think the check, I'm not sure if the check went to BPE or if the check went to the LMA. But we need an accounting of how much do we owe BPE because we've made payments to them over the years.
Oh, obviously.
Yes. So if the accountant could come out with the total amount of payment based on just this lawsuit, which may be difficult to do, but at least if they can just come over.
No.
Okay. But I would like to see that. And I don't know if Joe wants to take that on.
Well,
You deal with the accountant.
I will see to that we have a lot of figures, relevant figures to be provided from LMA, from the executive committee. Okay, how about that? See to there will be relevant figures provided by LMC.
Based on the accounting.
Yeah.
Based on the years of accounting. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. All right. So we finished our board members' comment and any public comment. If there's no public comment, then we shall move on to item 5, new business. Okay.
Well, I would just move for the new business was the acceptance of the letters of resignations for Diane and for Sue and that Stuart, that we just accept them and file them. I make a motion.
Okay.
That on the first.
But I think the county still requires to do a roll call vote. Yeah, knowing the county rules. So, yeah, sorry. So, okay, so under new business, now the motion is to acceptance of Diane Woolley's resignation as the secretary of the board. I motioned it, and Member Kurt, can you second it?
I second it.
All right. So, roll call vote.
Is there public comment?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Well, I made a motion that we just accept and file.
Well, okay. I think we can still invite board members comment and the public comment. All right. But anyway, the procedure is not wrong because the discussion is supposed to take place after the motion second. So we are fine. All right. So board members comment on the motion. Okay. If none, then I invite the public comment. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So I take the roll call vote. The motion is acceptance of Diane Wooley's resignation as the secretary of the board. So, Treasurer Plaza,
Yes.
Member Walter,
Yes.
and Member Lisa,
Yes.
Member Joy,
Yes.
Member Heath.
Yes.
I vote yes, so unanimous, motion passed. All right, and the second item, next item, acceptance of Sue Wilson's resignation as member of the board. Okay, I moved the motion. Anybody second?
That we accept and file it, second.
Okay, now we invite board members' comment.
I'd like to say something.
Okay,
I feel uncomfortable that Sue's resignation was pretty much a forced deal. Douglas had figured out a way, because he has personal problems with Sue Wilson, a way to get her off the board. Now, I'd like to clarify, I don't have any issue with the fact that the lock management or the lock did not have board approval of her nomination. Very similar to the fact that Diane Wadsworth Woolley did not have full. The only requirement was to be a member of a given organization. With Diane Wadsworth Woolley, she just had to be a member of a historic organization. And with Sue Wilson, she had to be a member of a Chinese organization. And that was accepted by the county. It was the first time the Locke Foundation had actually been recognized as a Chinese organization. And I have no problem with the Locke Foundation board wanting more say in who represents them. But I do feel that because of personal problems that Chairman Shaw had with ex-director Wilson, he had figured out a way to get rid of her or to get a vote of no confidence, which he knew was going to ultimately remove her from the Locke Management Corporation board. And I personally feel that weakens the board. I feel like that was going against, well, what is a fiduciary responsibility. I hope somebody can step in to fill her shoes, but I'm just saying I don't feel comfortable about it. And during Director Shaw's presentation at the Locke Foundation meeting, which was quite animate, also included insinuating that she was a racist, and that's plain false. So that's my 2 cents worth on her quote unquote resignation.
okay, and any other board members comment? So if not, then okay. So I would like to explain to everybody. I think I have written a letter to LMC Law Foundation in the county, and it has explained the entire situation quite clearly. The decision of Law Foundation is purely based on procedure. They do not like the fact that Member Walthall circumvent the board of Law Foundation and nominated somebody on behalf of the board without the board knowing. So it is explained clearly, and I don't think we should argue. I don't think this is the right place to argue this any further. Okay. All right. So any public comment? Okay. No public comments, so I shall take a roll call vote on acceptance of Sue Wilson's resignation as member of the board. Okay.
Seconded.
You seconded. Okay. Member seconded. I for the motion. And okay, so Treasurer Plaza,
Yes.
okay, and Member Warsaw,
Yes.
okay, Member Quo,
Oh, me? Yes.
yes, okay, and Member Eric.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is passed. The motion is
And
passed.
Member Kirk, yes. Member Kirk, yes.
Okay, yeah, because you say seconded. Okay, all right, okay, all right, yes, Member Kirk, thank you. All right, so the motion is passed unanimously, and we have accepted the resignation of Sue Wilson. All right, so the next item will be acceptance of Stuart Walthall's resignation as the vice chair of the board, but he will remain as a member of the board. Okay, so I again forward the motion and then to be seconded by another member, and then we open for board members discussion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Kirk.
Thank you, Member Kirk. Okay, board members comment? Okay,
I would like to make a comment if Stuart might reconsider.
okay. So, okay, Member Warsaw, would you reconsider your resignation?
Lisa, I appreciate that, but no, I'm not going to reconsider.
Okay, thank you.
I do hope to help the Lock Management Corporation Board as a director, same status as non-executive board members, and I look forward to a fruitful and productive 2020.
We're trying. Thank you, Stuart.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Member Clerk, and then I open to public comments now. All right. There's no public comments, so I take a roll call vote. Treasurer Plaza.
With sadness, I say yes.
Okay, and the member Walthall.
I'll have to abstain on that one.
Okay. And Member, you seconded, so I presume it's yes.
Yes.
Member Paul.
Yes.
Okay. Member Eric.
I accept it, or yes.
That's, and I also the motion, and I say yes. All right. So motion passed. Motion passed with 5 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay. Now we move on to the next item, which is to add Chairperson Shah as a bank signatory of FMM Bank, because the last executive committee somehow left out of the chairperson as a signatory, and now our ex-vice chair Walter, he is resigning. Therefore, I think we might need to put this in the minutes for the bank when they want to add my signatory to the bank account. So I will move the motion. Okay, the motion is to add Chairperson Shah as a bank signatory of FNM Bank, and then somebody second, and then board member comment and public.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All right, and board members comment. Okay. And
I'd like to make a clarification, excuse me.
Okay.
I will be dropping off of the signature list. So that would leave, for clarification, Joe and Douglas.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. And then now, okay, so public comments. If there's no public comments, and I again take a roll call vote. Treasurer Plaza?
Douglas,
Yes,
excuse me for a minute. Maybe we should amend the motion to authorize the addition of the chairperson and
Remove.
while removing, Director Waffle from that, because it would be clear. It would be
okay, that's a
clearer.
good point. Very good point. Yes. Okay. Okay, so let me amend the motion. The motion
Okay.
is to add Chairperson Shah as a
Right.
bank secretary of FAM Bank, and at the same time remove former Vice Chair Walther from the signatory. All right.
And I
so
don't
that-
think I can second. I can't second that. I don't think. I'm not sure. So someone else
I
needs to
second
second
it.
it.
Okay.
I-
All right. And then we already went through the board members and the public comments, so I will take a roll call vote. Treasury Plaza,
Yes.
okay, and former Vice Chair Walther,
Aye. Yes.
and Member Kirk,
Yes.
Member Kuo,
Yes.
and the Member Heath.
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes. So the motion is passed unanimously, and we will move on. And now we will discuss a major item of the evening's meeting. That's the discussion of the nomination process of board members. All right. So I think maybe I should read off our bylaw, Article 4, Section 3, which says that selection of director representing commercial and residential property owners. Every year in December, the board shall conduct a balloting process to select directors who represent property owners whose term is completed prior to January 1st of the following calendar year. The nominating committee shall develop a list of candidates to fill this director's position, designating each candidate as a commercial representative or residential representative. In addition, any owner may submit his or her name in writing to the board of directors and be included as candidate for one of these director positions. Each property owner within the town of Lodge shall be mailed a ballot with instructions. The voting by owners shall be on a one parcel, one vote basis. So this is our bylaw on the subject of the commercial and residential properties. And then we, of course, unfortunately, the bylaw has not covered our other positions such as the representation of historical society, Chinese organization, and the county. But anyway, I think what we're gonna do is we would like to form a nomination committee to tackle all this. So I would like now to invite volunteers to join the nomination committees. And my idea is to have 3 committee members. And I think the committee members prefer to be board member, but not a must. I think if we have a active members of the LMC or active member of the merchant community, that would be fine too. So, do I have any volunteer? Okay, I see that Jeannie Giles, I see you raise your hand, so would you like to speak?
Yes, I would be happy to volunteer.
Okay, I think even though that you are not a board member, but then I think you have been active with so many organizations and activities of the LOC, and I think it will be all right to have you as one member of the three committee members. So I have Jeannie on the slate. I need two more, and then okay, Member Heath, you
Yep. I'm happy to volunteer to be on the nominating committee.
wonderful. So I have Member Heath. Okay, I need one more, and then we can put it on the slate and we vote. Yes, Fritz. Yes, go ahead.
I think Deborah has her hand up too.
Okay, that's Bohawk. Okay. Member Walter, right? You
No, No, I had a question, so no.
You are not volunteering.
No.
Do you have a question?
Well, just a clarification. No succession schedule has been created, so regarding the terms of the present directors, it's still unknown, particularly if two commercial representatives, according to the bylaws, there's staggered terms of 1, 2, and 3 years. So I'm just suggesting that the nomination committee know who to nominate. Also, of course, to be eligible to be nominated, that a list has to go out of eligible nominees. And to be eligible, you have to be current on your assessments. And there's a little wiggle room there because if someone hasn't paid their assessments for 2 months, are they ineligible? Or if they haven't paid for 1 month? So I think that, of course, getting a nomination committee in place is great. That's important. But it would be helpful to the current directors to know what their terms are. So,
Could I add on to that or continue the conversation on that? I did some research or some homework, let's say, on the bylaws and the CC&Rs over the break. I agree that with kind of the reconstitution of the board, essentially last year after the 2020 kind of lull or gap, I think it is unclear what terms, who has what term, or when board members' terms expire. I think the terms are generally 3 years, like that's the length of time. But then like there's the ones that are appointed from Sacramento, and then the property owner one, the commercial and residential property owner ones. Is there I guess also, since I'm new, is there a record of when people came on the board, and should is it reasonably reliable? I mean, it seems we could probably bridge the 2020 gap if we could look at prior records.
Well, I think the homeowners that are on there now, and we're just talking about the homeowners at this point. And
no, it's property owners. It's property owners.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just property owners at this point.
That includes commercial property.
It's both. We're looking at both commercial and residential property owners at this point because there needs to be an election for them. So it's different than all the appointments and ratifications by the Board of Supervisors. So
I understand. I understand that, Lisa. I'm just saying there's a staggered slate, right? So that things turn over not all at once, and they turn over maybe every year, but it's not everything turning over every year. And so I'm just trying to figure out, if the terms are for 3 years, regardless whether you're appointed or elected, it would be good to know who came on when.
Well, I think the county has a list of that as far as the ratification. And Joseph and I, I'm going to get off a minute. Joseph and I both need to be reappointed by the county. And there needs to be a nomination going in for the other seats that are empty. But now we're just talking about nominations for the commercial and residential, and the committee and the election process to do that, which I think the nomination committee is going to have to delve into. And, you know, the ones that have just, you know, you were kind of appointed. Do we need to do an election on, but an election on the property owners that are presently there? And
right.
I think
That's part of my question, I guess, unstated. But
yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. You have to look in the Davis Sterling Act, and probably the nomination committee probably needs to look at these things because it is a question.
Okay, Treasurer Plaza, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to answer Eric's one of his questions a little bit more completely. The answer is, do we know when everybody came on? The answer to that is yes, because everybody in the end has to be approved by the board of directors, and so you've got to go. You have to be certified. You have to take an ethics class, and then you get a certificate. You get an acceptance by the board of directors. So we know the date everybody was accepted. So the answer to that is yes, we do know that for sure. So that will start their term at that point. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's helpful. I just thank you, and that helped. That did answer my question.
I'd like to add a little something too, especially addressing Eric, and I think Eric and I have discussed it a while back, but the bylaws, the original bylaws, which are still the same bylaws we go by, are going on the premise that a full board was started at one time. Hence, the staggered terms was much easier to accommodate. It does mention drawing lots, etc. It's very difficult just to say, well, let's just go ahead and say that if, say, I'm the only commercial or residential property owner, you can have 3 years. Well, I don't know if you could just say that, or 2 years, or I'm termed out, or whatever. Same with multiple folks like Eric and Joy. You know, who is the longer one?
Stuart, just real quick on that. I was just looking at section 2 under Article 4, and at the very end where it talks about the directors, it just says that upon expiration of the initial terms, which are the staggered terms, that all directors shall have a term of 3 years.
Yeah, that would make things a lot easier, but.
That's what I understood to apply to all directors, since it says all directors. But
yeah.
So
it'd be nice if we could just do what's best. You know, that would be the best thing we could do.
But does Conti have anything to chime in?
Not on.
I mean, Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Munoz. Do you guys have anything to chime in for our election process? Election process?
I'm sorry, we don't represent the county. We are just here to help with the management of the meeting. If you can restate the question, I will take that back to Flo and probably Supervisor Natoli's office so that we can get information for you. But what was the question?
I think basically we are in the state of establishing when all the directors start. So probably we will have some of our own record. But in case there are missing pieces, can we come to the county so that the county can come up with all the starting time of our directors in the past?
So you're talking about the staggered terms, right? Is that what you're asking about? Okay. I will ask Flo or put that question to Flo and our staff who work on the nominations process, and then have them contact you, or Flo will contact you to let you know what we have, what information we have.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Douglas,
yes.
Douglas, I think with the property owners, there's an election that we have to put on that probably should comply with the Davis Sterling. So I think the nominating committee can go through that. I don't think the county has any, as far as our election of property owners, they don't have anything to do with that.
Okay. All
We're
right.
gonna,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, okay. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, we try to get as much information from county as possible. I mean, it's one source, so we take no.
yeah, but they don't enforce the Davis Sterling Act. That's up to us.
All right. Okay. Now we have 2 volunteers for the nomination committee, and need the third volunteer. Okay. Do I get a third volunteer? Huh. Well,
I can probably get another owner of Al's to volunteer.
ooh, okay, but I want to see if we can get somebody out of the board.
Yeah, that would be best.
Okay, Joe, would you be interested?
When will this start? I've got a number of things coming up that I won't be here for.
Well,
If I wouldn't have to be on location, yeah,
You don't have to be on location for me because I'm not going to be on location.
All right.
Okay,
Then
so
count
we
me
have,
in.
we have Joe, we have Eric, we have Jeannie. Okay, so is there any more? Okay, there should be no contenders, right? So I think I should put forward a motion to establish the nomination committee made up by Treasurer Plaza, Member Heath, and public member Virginia Giles. All right, so that is my motion. I repeat, that's my motion. Second. Okay. I take a roll call vote. Okay, Treasurer Plaza.
Yes.
Okay, Member Walther. Member Walther. Member Walther, are you with us? Okay, I move on to Member Kurt first. Member Kurt, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Member Cole?
Yes.
Okay, Member Heath, you
Yep.
seconded, so I presume yes?
Yes.
All right. And now, Member Walther? Okay. All right. So we have got enough votes, and we will go back to Walter for his vote. Anyway, I will consider the motion passed. We have passed the motion of forming a nomination committee being made up of Treasurer Plaza, Member Heath, and public member Giles. All right, so motion passed. All right, so the next item on the agenda is security of parking lot. So this item was put on because one time that the Pro Rodriguez called me, and then he complained that his car was vandalized a few times in the parking lot of Lock, and he wants us. He has idea he has come up with ideas for security measure for the parking lot, but I don't see him here. So I guess we just have to move on. All right. Does anybody have anything thing to say about the security of the parking lot in Lock? Board members?
I've never had any issues there, but I've also been there mostly on the weekends, and I rarely have my car overnight there. I do note there is some debris in the, I guess, northwest corner, or no, sorry, northeast corner. Looks like kind of a little encampment over there. So like, not exactly sure it's in being maintained properly and being free from whatever. But as far as security goes, I've not had any issue. I'm unaware of any issue of any of our customers at Al's. That doesn't mean there aren't issues. That's just my knowledge.
Any more board members' comments? Public comments? Okay, Ms. Giles?
Yes, it's Giles, actually, soft G.
Giles.
Giles. Yes, I didn't hear who it was that you said had vandalism problems.
Paul Rodriguez.
Oh, Paul. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to comment that one of my customers was broken into in broad daylight on the weekend. So, and that was about a month and a half ago. And we did retrieve her bag in the police, and I found it in the parking lot. And but the person stole really more personal things like their registration and their garage door opener. So that was interesting. So it seems more of a different kind of crime to me. And another resident has had her house broken into a couple of times here too. So I don't know how. Possibly if we had security cameras in the parking lot, we could see who it is that's doing these break-ins. Thank you.
As far as security camera, actually, Paul Rodriguez said that he has already installed security cameras. Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not here.
He did. Yes, he said that. But I also tried to get the footage from that day, and nobody ever got back to me about that. The break-in for my customer's break-in. So I had contacted him, and he never I contacted him a couple times, and he never got back to me about it.
I think I will go after him again too, because he made me put it on the agenda, and he has no show.
Okay.
All right. So we move on to the next item, which is the street lights repair. So I think Joy has done some inspection of the street lights in the town of Lock, and let's hear her report.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, we have the parking, the Lock street lights. We total have 16 street lights. And for sure have 3 street lights. It doesn't work. One is on the Key Street nearby the 13955 Key Street, Key Road. And another one is nearby the public garden. Behind that one is that it doesn't work. And another one is the Lock Road is nearby the public restroom. That one doesn't work. At least these 3 lights is broken right now. I went through all the lights and day and night. So I got that information. And another thing is I would recommend if we can replace to the LED lights. That will save our electricity bills. Yeah. So from now on, I volunteer to take care of the contact with SMART and see what they are going to say. So the best way is change all the lights to LED. So that's my approach right now. And Joe already gave to me the phone numbers the smart someone I needed to contact with is what is her name, Erica, and I called her today, and then she's not in the office, so, but I leave a message to her already.
Wonderful, wonderful. So anyway, you just reported there are 3 broken lights, right?
Yes.
Actually, my personal count was more than 3. I counted 5. So anyway,
Really?
I counted there are 5 lights that is actually going on and off and on and off. So anyway, I think our primary goal is to get all the lights working again. Our
Right.
secondary goal is to change to LED.
That's true.
All right, so let's get the primary first. Is that
Okay.
right?
Yeah. That's what I said. We get the broken lights fixed first, and then maybe the LED lights smog is going to on and some questions. So it take longer. So
So it's
put the
wonderful to
lights
get those
on
lights
first.
working.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So now we are relying on you and your cooperation with Joe. Okay. So thank you, Joe and Joy. All right. All right. So we have done. Now we finished all the new business. Now is the next item is report from relevant organizations. So I know that the relevant one of the relevant organization is the Lock Merchant Association. Is that what you call? Ms. Giles.
Yes, but I wanted to go back to the streetlight situation and ask a question, if I may.
Oh, please. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the town, but what about there's a light out on River Road? Well, they're flickering. One side's out completely, and do we call the county about that?
Okay. On the River Road, would that be locked? Would that be the responsibility of Lock, or would that be the responsibility of the county on the River Road?
I think River Road's a state highway, so it probably
I don't
has
know.
some state or county
highway.
Department of Transportation, Caltrans angle.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that let's let Member Quo to find out from Smut, because Member Quo will be talking to Smut, and can you please also find out the lights on the River Road? Are they whose responsibility are they? Can
Well,
you do that?
Yes, and I'd like to.
Okay, Ms.
Sorry.
Giles.
Yes, I just want to tell Giles. Yeah, I just want to say which light it is. It's the one that's directly on top of the Memorial Garden, and then also out on right behind it on the River Road. So that's what we're looking at. Thank you.
Well, may I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I do have the street light numbers, the poles. So if somebody let me know and which one it doesn't work, and then I will put a mark there, and then I'll contact with the smart, and because I do have the numbers right down already.
Mm-hmm. So each light has a number, and you have them. Okay.
Yes, I have
Also
each
divided.
light's numbers.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So just
yeah.
let me know which one and what's the number, and I can contact it with smoke. Okay?
I can feel that we are flexing our muscles. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So any public comments regarding the street lights? Okay. All right. So now I move on to the next item, which is 7, report from relevant organizations. And one organization that I know is the Lock Merchant Association. you have held 2 street fairs, and that may be worth our attention.
Sure. May I speak now?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is Ginny Giles, Virginia Giles, and yes, I think that I know both street fairs were a great success. Brought in a ton of new people who'd never heard of Locke before, and has brought back many of those people. Word of mouth is spreading. I've had several, actually quite a few people come up to me and say that they heard about the street fair from other people. Some of these people are from as far away as the Bay Area. They'd love to participate, at least come and enjoy the experience, if not vent themselves. We had between 23 and about 28 vendors with each event, so it was great. And like I said before, we had local food and the first one, live music, and we hope to do many, many more in the future, bringing more people into town. So I think we all benefited from it in one way or another. Does anybody have any questions?
How happy are the vendors? Do they think they have make enough money for their venture?
Yes, all the vendors were thrilled. We had many of the vendors that came back for the sidewalk sale. The sidewalk sale was very impromptu. It was done in less than 3 weeks, and of course, we didn't close the street down for that one. But many of the same vendors came back, the ones that could, and so yes, they were all very, very happy.
Thank you. So I think it's important for you to maintain that relationship with all those vendors. So it's your job, right? Thank you.
It is my job, and I have been, and they're all followers of my Instagram account, and they're also followers of many of yours now. Those of you that have businesses, they are very thrilled with Locke, and they want to see more happening here. So
wonderful. And then, Member Kirk, please.
To the Locke merchants, we were going to do an ad in the Delta Life magazine, and we all need to get together soon. Eric, somebody mentioned that you had a graphics guy that would be willing to kind of put our ads together.
Well, we do have a graphics guy. I think we can impose on him. I will. We have a meeting tomorrow. I'll bring it up then.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's got to be soon. And all the merchants will be paying for that ads themselves. In the past, the LMA used to give us, I think it was $3,000 a year to do advertising. I know that money's tight right now, but in the future, maybe we can reconsider that. But at this point, we just need to get that ad in. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of media exposures, and that's good. And I also like to congratulate Eric Heath, because I got $100 coupon gift certificate from DWR, and some of you must be doing a hell of a job selling to DWR, and thank you for that, because I imagine it's me and maybe other 100 people have gotten the same gift certificate, and there's a lot of people coming into the town.
Well, the more people that get them, the more people that come in. We're happy with all of that, and good to have traffic in the town, in any way. So I think it benefits all of us.
All right, wonderful. So, am I done with report from relevant organizations? Okay, if that is done, then now I open to public comments for not. Okay, Member Walter, you put your hand up, right? Okay, so again, I invite public comments for items that's not agendized today. Any public comments? Yes, Member Kirk. Okay.
Excuse me, my hand
an
was.
announcement. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Lisa. My comment would have been under a report for residential property owners and renters too. But I see that was an agendized item, so I'm going to read a email that was supplied to me from a renter. So this doesn't reflect me, by the way. This is, I'm simply was asked to read it under the duties of my job as representative. Dear Al's owners and staff, we, Al's neighbors, would like to bring to your attention several issues that we hope can be resolved in the spirit of neighborly cooperation. While we appreciate Al's commitment to closing by 10 o'clock on weeknights, we have observed a steady increase in Al's operating hours well beyond 10 p.m. Our foremost concern is the noise volume emanating from the jukebox and patron conversations. We are consistently awoken and kept awake by loud music and boisterous conversations in the street. As the music volume increases, so too does the volume of conversation. This is known as the Lombard effect, whereby speakers involuntarily increase the volume of their speech in loud environments to enhance audibility. Patrons venture outside to smoke. They speak, in many instances shout, as if they were still inside trying to be heard over the music. We are sure you can understand how frustrating this is for us. Imagine being awoken or kept awake late into the night by intoxicated people shouting in the street and the thumping drone of classic rock. We are often forced to sleep with earplugs in. We request that you please decrease the jukebox volume by 10 o'clock p.m. and instruct your staff to politely remind patrons that this is a residential neighborhood and encourage patrons to be respectful and mindful of their volume. We remind you that the Sacramento County Code, Chapter 6.68, regulates the maximum noise levels in residential zones shall not increase 55 decibels between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. and shall not exceed 50 decibels between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. If we can hear Al's jukebox and patrons' conversations from our homes, then clearly you are exceeding the 50 decibel regulation. We hope that you can agree to our request and we can all continue to thrive in life and business in this very special community we cherish. That's it. There was also a complaint that there was music and whatnot coming at 3 a.m. in the morning from Al's. So.
Okay, so that
Okay,
will be
can I respond?
call from the relevant organizations. Yes. Okay.
I'd like to respond. First of all, Stuart, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I do question its appropriateness for the Lock Management Corporation as an item. If the county rules apply, I just is this really an LMC issue or is this a problem with Al's? If it's a problem with Al's, I'm happy to talk with you separately. If this person doesn't want to talk to one of the owners, I'm happy to facilitate a conversation with the owners as a group or whatever it might be. But my first response is, I don't think this is an LMC issue. That said, I'm happy. We have tried to keep the jukebox down. I will make sure that we reinforce the need for lower volumes after, I think we've been turning it down at 9. And I will make sure that I have a conversation with staff to make, so you can tell your anonymous correspondent there that I will talk with them about making sure the jukebox volumes are lower after 9 or at 9 and after. So I can't do much about people going outside to smoke since smoking is not allowed indoors. but I'm happy to also ask the staff to remind people to keep it down. And we can even put signs up to respect our neighbors, in addition to the signs that we already have about respecting our neighbors at Al's. So I'm happy to do both of those things. And then as for the 55 decibels, I'm happy to get a decibel meter and measure it. I think there is, I think we can all agree that Locke is a special community, and that the place has its upsides and downsides. And one of the downsides is some of the houses are relatively thinly constructed and may not have adequately insulated windows and or sides, and so therefore what may seem like more than 55 decibels may not be 55 decibels. In any event, I'm happy to try and measure that as needed. The last thing we want is trouble with our neighbors. Obviously, I know it's a small town. We want to be a force for good there, but we do have, we have patrons, and so, we'll do what we can, and I will take care of what I can control. But so I hope that is enough to respond. I don't know if this needs to, again, I'll reiterate my questioning this as a matter for the LMC.
And I'm hoping that, excuse me, Lisa, I'm hoping that the person that submitted this communication through me is listening to this meeting and got to hear what you had to say, Eric.
This is Alma from the clerk of the board's office. This item is not agendized on the agenda, so there really cannot be a big discussion about this. If you could please keep your comments to a minimum, that would be best.
A point of clarification to me would be, in lieu of the fact that we apparently no longer have reports given by representatives, commercial Chinese organization, Locke Foundation, residential. If I, as residential property representative, do get comments, where is the appropriate place within this format of an agenda for these comments to be?
Comments about Al's?
No comments at all about residential.
Well,
There was
I think in the future, maybe I can agendize it like a report from relevant organizations and the commercial and the street merchants.
Thank you, Chairperson.
I would just like to give a public comment.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry?
if we could, if, for instance, I am representative of residential property owners, am I expected, as in the past, to give a report during meetings?
Yeah. So I will put that in under the category of report from relevant organization, merchants, and the residential representatives.
And will we have one for commercial?
That would be an agenda.
Thank you.
Does that work for you? Okay. So, yeah, we are learning. So in spirit, this is an agendized item. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Candy. Okay. All right. So that concludes our report from our merchant and residential representatives. And now I open to public comments for anything that is not related to our agenda.
I thought that was public comment.
Oh,
Yeah, that was public comment.
okay.
And when we move on to announcements, I just would like to make an announcement.
Okay, announcement, yes.
Okay, we're moving on. Okay. I just wanted all the members to notice in their package that the Sacramento River Historical Society has nominated by their own board, Virginia, to serve in the historical position. So that I'm not sure how we move that forward. If we need to vote on this, it should be on the next agenda, and how to move that forward to the county.
Okay. Okay. Number one, the letter is posted on the county website, so it's part of
Okay.
our meeting package. And number two, okay, I think that would be a matter to be handled by the nomination committee, because the nomination committee is not only going to work on the residential and commercial members. We are putting up an entire slate of board members for election, board member position for election, right?
Okay, but Virginia won't be voted on by the homeowners,
They should be voted on by
the board.
the board. Yes.
Right. So if we can put this on the next agenda, because she's not going to go on, the nomination committee is for the election of the property owners. So if we could move this forward,
Okay, let's clarify that. I was thinking the nomination committee, they
No.
are working on top of the residential and commercial members. They are also putting together the slate of candidacy. Is that right? That's the
no, the nomination, we have an election process that involves the property owners, not the people that were accepting. We should have probably had this on the agenda and accepted this nomination. The property owners have to elect their own slate.
Okay.
And then we have to go through an election with that slate of people, because we're kind of split in two. So if we can get this on the next agenda, so we can forward this
I
to
think
the
it's more
county
than just I think it's
for
important
the ratification.
to elect Jeannie, but then I think now we are talking about a much bigger issue. Okay, so what about all the other board member positions outside of the merchant and residential members? I mean, okay, so because we have we need to work out the staggering. Okay, we need to have a plan to look at, from my position to Joe's position to your position, everybody.
The county has that. The county has that on who they ratified. They ratified Diane. Ginny is going to be taking Diane's place. The county will have when Diane's position ended, but we need to get Ginny ratified by the counny. So her position needs to go to the county. And I talked to the county about Joe and myself. So we need to get this on the agenda for the ratification appointment. The election of homeowners is different.
Okay, but then are we supposed to find out the staggering term, like when do I?
The county will have it. They appointed the.
Yeah. So I was counting on the nomination committee to find out that which board members' term needs to be re-elected.
Well, because
Joe,
myself and Joe are already in that position. So we probably. I would suggest we have another meeting to at least, within the board, is to forward the same positions on to the county. And I don't know when Diane's term ends, but the county will have that. I'll talk to Florence. I think they have a list that's printed.
because I don't know my turn either. So, okay.
Then,
I will talk to the county, and then
Okay.
I am still thinking about involving the nomination committee on that too. So,
I don't think the nomination committee needs to be involved in that. It's just the board of directors.
Yeah, there's the issue here, as I understand it. Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong. You're talking about getting the nominations for the appointed positions on the board over
Correct.
to the Sacramento County authorities who can make the official
Right.
appointment. You're not talking
Right,
about
and-
getting people on a slate to be elected to represent any property owners.
Right. We're kind of a split board in that. And the property owners have to do an election with them. And we do have board members on there that have not been elected by the property owners. So, but I just hate to see the numbers keep going down, where if we can just, as board of directors, fill somebody into the Locke Foundation and the Historical Society, that'll give us 2 more board members before, kind of immediately. The whole ballot election process is something else.
Okay. So, Lisa, since you are the representative of the county, can I count on you to talk to the county about our appointed board members' candidacy?
Right. I've sent them an email. But
because I truly want to know about myself. I mean, I don't know when does my term expire, and when do we need to see re-election. So,
Okay.
you work on it, and I will back you up.
Okay.
Okay. So you
Okay.
and I
All right.
work on the appointed positions, and the nomination committee work on the commercial and
Property
residential.
owners.
Okay. So
Right.
that would be
Okay.
a nice division of duties.
Right. And I'm going to
Alright.
suggest maybe even a meeting in February.
Okay. Well, a special meeting.
We can
or-
talk about it later. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Basically, I was thinking about the next meeting is gonna be the 14th March. I was counting on the next meeting to be sorry.
Are you there?
March 14th. That's 2 months from now. Okay, so that would be the next regular meeting. Okay,
Right.
but then we're talking about special meeting. Okay, so why don't you and I work on the county and the nomination committee work on the other section, and we will talk and see how we move forward. So
Okay.
can we talk maybe 1 week from today? Okay, so basically
Okay.
to
Okay.
avoid violating Barnett, so it will be me and Joe talking. All right. So me and Joe
Okay.
will talk about how to coordinate the 2 prongs of election. That works. Joe, is that all right with you?
We might have to have a special meeting to send out ballots for the nominating property owners, and then to put into the county what seats we want ratified in the other slate.
Okay. So basically, the nomination committee will work that out,
Okay.
and they will tell us when do they need a special meeting,
Okay.
and you and I work it out, and then we coordinate. So
Okay.
the next regular meeting will be the 14th, but then there will be a special meeting somewhere in between, and Joe
If
and
we
I
need it.
will talk
Okay.
same day next week. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. All right. So much for the meeting today, and I do see that there's a lot of new attendance for the meeting, which is a good sign. The LNC needs more participation of everybody, and yeah. So thank you again, and I am adjourning the meeting. The time now is 8:57, and okay. Thank you again.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Recording stopped.